Did you know that your God-given gifts could very well be the foundation of a thriving business? Stick with me, because many of you may not even have starting a business or wanting to have a business on your radar. But I'm going to walk you through step by step on discovering your purpose and how it aligns with the gifts that God has placed on the inside of you, and how you can use that to serve others and honor Him at the same time. And with all things, as I talk about in my videos, definitely want you to seek God and pray about this is something that He's leading you to. So I want you to meditate on these scriptures that I'm going to share with you, in hopes that you are able to uncover those gifts that are on the inside of you and utilize them to serve others in a way that can create a thriving business for you. So the first thing that I want to talk about is discovering your God-given gifts. So if we look at 1 Peter chapter 4, verse number 10, it says, "Each of you should use whatever gift you receive to serve others." God has uniquely equipped you with talents and abilities, and identifying them always starts with reflection and prayer. So this is a verse that I definitely want you to reflect on and pray about, because again, this is not speaking to everyone. This is speaking specifically to those that are called to have a business that is going to serve others and also honor God at the same time. And when we think about this, you want to reflect on what comes naturally to you. What are some things that you will do without even getting compensation for? Those are the gifts and your purpose, the things that are just effortless for you to do. Of course, you can do nothing absent of God, but these are things that you know that God has placed on the inside of you that you can do with ease, and then you also see the transformation that it creates in the lives of others. And one thing that's also important is to get some feedback from trusted advisors. You want to make sure that the people that you're getting feedback from are people that are going to give you wise counsel, that are going to give information that's going to be useful for you. And you always want to pray for clarity for your gifts, because sometimes when we know that there are gifts that are on the inside of us, we don't want to use them in the wrong way, and we want to make sure that we're using them to give God glory in everything that we do. So you want to pray for those gifts. Make sure you have clarity on how to utilize those gifts in the marketplace if this is what God is calling you to. So I know a lot of times when we think about, what God has placed on the inside of us and what our purpose is, that's a question that comes up often over and over again. So if we lay the foundation and really think about what are those things that we're good at, asking others to identify those things, and there should be some alignment with what you know that you're good at and what others see on the inside of you, because that way you'll know that this is definitely something that God is stirring up on the inside of you. So the next point that I want to make is aligning your gifts with the need. So if we look at Colossians chapter 3, verse 23, it says, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord." Now remember, your gifts are meant to serve others and glorify God while you're serving Him and serving others. And when we think about that, we want to be able to identify what problem are you able to solve through what God has gifted you with. What needs do you offer that's going to alleviate a pain point for other individuals? So you want to make sure also that your business ideas or the things that God reveals to you is something that's going to be aligned, and that you're hearing from God concerning the business, because when you hear from God concerning the business that He wants for you, it's going to align with His plan and purpose for your life, and it's going to align with your values. So anything that is not aligned with those values, then you know that's not coming from God. So that's why it's so important to pray for clarity and make sure that everything that you're doing is aligned with the Word of God. And a lot of times when we think about businesses, and we know that ultimately we want our business to profit, but we want to think about the service, because a lot of times when we're getting into business, all money is not always good money, right? And we don't want to look at it as just from a monetary standpoint. Of course, we do want to gain some monetary value from offering the service that the gifts that God has given us. However, we don't want that to be our primary focus. We don't want to begin to make money an idol. We want to come from a place of service, but we also want to understand that what we offer in the marketplace is valuable. We don't want to devalue the gifts that God has placed on the inside of us, but we don't want to create an idol where we're worshiping money, chasing money, instead of chasing the purpose that God has placed on the inside of us, so that we can make sure we're serving those who we called to in a way that's going to honor Him. And next, we want to look at creating a simple business plan, because we know that a vision that God has given us is not going to fail. Not to say that it's going to be absent of challenges, but a vision that comes from Him is going to reach its full potential. So when we think about that and we look at Proverbs chapter 16, verse number 3, it says, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plan." So you want to seek God first, so He can give you that clear plan and order your steps so that you can stay faithful and focused. Because what's important is that if you don't have a vision from God, you don't have a direction, you're going to get frustrated, you're going to give up, you're not going to pursue those things that He has called you to. But if you establish your plan in Him and make sure that it's established by Him, you will remain faithful and purposeful, and you will not give up, because you know this is what the vision that He's giving you, you know the promise that He's giving you, and you're going to be focused on that promise and be faithful to it, because you know this is God ordained based on the gifts that He's placed inside of you. So you want to define your mission. Where are you going? What are you going to be doing? What are you going to be offering in this business? And again, this is definitely going to be things that are going to be given to you through the vision that God has placed on the inside of you, based on the gifts that He has given you. So everything is going to be in full alignment. There's not going to be anything that's not going to fit together. Again, it's not going to be absence of challenges. It's not going to be absent of work that you have to put in, but understand that it's all going to work together. God's going to send you individuals to help you in different situations. He's going to create those partnerships for you, but you have to have the clarity and you have to do the work. And you want to set realistic goals. But I know that God goals and our goals are definitely different. So you want to make sure that those goals that you're setting are God's goals that are definitely coming from Him. And you want to also make sure that you're not wearing yourself too thin and putting more on your plate than you can actually accomplish. And again, setting that foundation through Him, you'll be able to make sure that everything that you are doing is intentional and purposeful, so that you're not taking on more than you can bear, because you're going outside of the plan and purpose that He has for you when building this business. So you want to start with what you have. And many times we get caught up in this because we are looking for perfection. We know every day we are working and getting better in the things that we're doing, and we are going to have to continue to show up as our true self and not act like that this is going to be perfect, because it's going to take time to get to that place where we need to be in terms of establishing our business and working in our business and getting to the point where we begin to see the fruit of our labor. But just start. Don't look for perfection right away. As long as you're seeking God first in everything and you're allowing His vision to work through you and you're serving others and you're honoring Him, being able to step out there and put the work in with the faith that you've already established, because He's already given you the gifts that are on the inside of you. And the next one is you want to trust God and take action. So if we look at Joshua chapter 1, verse number 9, it says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." Now, starting something can be scary. I know when I first started this YouTube channel, I sat on it for so long. I was scared. I was worried about what everybody was going to think. But then I said, God gave me this vision. I can't continue to sit on this vision that He's given me and just, be fearful and not show up in the way that I need to show up. And I know this is what a lot of people experience, especially when starting a business. They feel like they're not worthy to have a business. People aren't going to listen to them. Why am I doing this? But if this is something that God specifically told you to do, then you have to put that fear aside. You have to show up faithfully, consistently, even when you don't feel like it, because it's going to require a lot of action. It's going to require a lot of late nights. It's going to require a lot of prayer, a lot of supplication. Is going to require a lot of tears. So just think about that ahead of time. But you understand that these are the gifts that God has placed on the inside of you. And you are uniquely positioned to do this thing that He's gifted you to do. So don't get discouraged. Don't become fearful and shrink back and not show up as your true self. Because this is what's stopping a lot of individuals. Fear. Fear is paralyzing. We stop and do not allow our purpose to be fulfilled because we're operating in fear. And this is the number one tactic that the enemy uses so that your purpose cannot move forward. So if this is you, I want you to speak to that fear and know that God is going to lead you and guide you, and that you don't have to operate in fear. You have the faith. You just need to put action to that faith and just go forward with what He has put on the inside of you. Your gifts are already there. You have to stir them up, but they can't be stirred up if they're just lying dormant and you're not taking action on the vision that He's given to you. So just take one small step every day. Set some small goals and say, okay, this is something that I'm going to do, and commit to that thing. Commit to those simple things that you need to do, whether it's registering a domain, creating a product, recording a video, doing a consultation. Whatever that thing may be, take that small step and do it scared. I always hear this quote that's, well, not really a quote, but things that something that someone says, that you're building and flying the plane at the same time. So just jump. And as you go down and you develop those skills and you get that confidence and courage, those things will come together. So you can't come together. They can't come together if you're not putting yourself out there and trying. So you also want to trust God's timing. Now, this is not going to be an overnight success. I don't care how many things you see that these people put out and say that, oh, I've done this in 3 weeks and I've made this amount of money. Yeah, there are some anomalies. There are some people who do experience that type of success, but that's not typical. So you want to understand that you want to trust God's timing. This is a marathon, not a sprint. So you want to take intentional and meaningful and purposeful steps leading up to whatever God is leading you to in terms of your position in the marketplace. You want to remain faithful. And the only way to do that is continuing to go back to your vision, your mission, the things that God has given you, the gifts that He's placed on the inside of you. Never move away from that, because if you move away from that, you will continue to be discouraged. You'll give up because you won't remember why you are doing the things that you have been assigned to do. You want to share your journey. A lot of people want to know what's going on, and sometimes they may be experiencing things that you've experienced. Share your journey. Be an inspiration, because remember, your business is specifically to serve others and honor God. So sharing your journey, being an inspiration, allowing them to see the struggles and challenges that you've gone through. But even in those struggles and challenges, God was with you every step of the way. Share your testimony. Share the blessings that He has placed upon your business as you've established it. And this is how you build community and allow others to embrace around you as you move along this journey. And this is also how you become connected with others, because then God sees your work. He sees your faithfulness. He sees you showing up. And then people also see that. And they may be a part of the vision that He has yet to uncover for you. And you see how this person fits so perfectly in that, because you showed up and now you're out there and able to make that divine connection. So I hope this encourages you. Again, I know this may not be for everyone, but in all things, I always encourage you, go back, meditate on the scriptures that I share in these videos, pray about what God is leading you to, and if there's a specific business that He wants you to start, remember, those gifts are already there. Those gifts are already ready to be stirred up. So pray about what direction He wants you to go as it relates to being a business owner, serving others, and honoring God. So remember, you are an equipped woman living purposed, productive, and prosperous.